All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're going to break down one of the most important, most fundamental design patterns out there, the observer pattern.
Okay, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at a really common communication problem. Then, we'll see how a subscription model, a subscription model, is the perfect solution. We'll get to know the key players, the publishers and subscribers, see how it all works in code, and then, we'll wrap up with the good, the bad, the pros and cons. All right, first things first. To really get why the observer pattern is so cool, you have to understand the problem it was designed to solve.
So let's paint a picture. Imagine you really want the new iPhone. The store is going to get it, eventually. So what do? You could keep checking their website day after day, wasting your own time. Or from the store's side, they could just blast an email to every single customer they have. But think about it. That just annoys everyone who couldn't care less about the new iPhone, right?
See that tension? On one hand, the customer is constantly pulling for information. On the other, the store is just inefficiently pushing it out to everyone. It's a total communication mess. And you just know there has to be a better way.
And that better way? Well, that's where the observer pattern comes in. It's this really elegant solution based on something we all know and use every day: subscriptions. So, formally speaking, what it does is set up a subscription mechanism. The whole idea is to create this one-to-many relationship. When one object, the one everyone's watching, changes its state, all of its dependents get notified and updated. And the best part? It all happens automatically.
Yeah, I know, that can sound a little abstract. So let's use a real-world analogy that's going to make this whole thing just click.
It's simple, right? You subscribe one time, you get put on a list, and then whenever a new issue comes out, it just shows up at your door. You don't have to keep going to the store to check. So here's the key takeaway. The responsibility for communication has shifted. It's now on the publisher to send out the news, but only to the people who asked for it and only when there's actually something new to share.
Okay, so let's take that magazine idea and bring it into the world of software. The roles are basically the same, we just use some different terminology. We call them publishers and subscribers.
So on one side, you have the publisher. You can also call it the subject. This is the object that holds the important information, the state that everyone cares about. On the other side, you've got the subscribers, or observers. These are the ones who want to know when that state changes. Now here's the really cool part, the secret sauce of this whole thing. The publisher doesn't actually know or care what the subscribers are. All it knows is that each subscriber has an update method it can call. This is called loose coupling, and it is a game changer. It means you can create all sorts of new subscribers later on, maybe an email alerter, a dashboard updater, whatever you can think of, and you never have to touch the publisher's code. That right there is what makes this pattern so incredibly powerful and flexible.
Okay, so we've got the concept down. Now let's see how this beautifully simple idea actually looks in code. It's surprisingly straightforward.
All right, step 1. A subscriber needs to tell the publisher it's interested. So the publisher has a method, usually called something like attach or subscribe. And all it does is add that new subscriber to a list it keeps internally. That's it. It's like you're just raising your hand and saying, hey, keep me in the loop on this.
And then, step 2, when something important actually happens, the state changes, the publisher just runs through that list of subscribers and calls the update method on every single one. That's the whole magic trick right there. Just a simple loop, pushing out the news to everyone who signed up to listen.
And once you see this pattern, you start seeing it everywhere. Seriously, it's the backbone of so many things we use. Think about graphical user interfaces. You click a button and something happens? That's the observer pattern. Push notifications on your phone? Yep, even in video games, like when your character's health drops and a bunch of passive skills suddenly activate. Or in a spreadsheet when you change one number and a whole chart updates instantly. All of that is the observer pattern at work.
But like any tool in the toolbox, it's not a silver bullet. It's not perfect for every single situation. So it's time for a little reality check. Let's talk about the pros and the cons.
So the biggest pro is definitely that flexibility we talked about, that loose coupling. You can add new subscribers all day long without ever touching the publisher. That's huge. But there's a con. Sometimes you can get these complex cascading updates. One thing changes, which notifies another, and it can get really tricky to debug. Another thing to watch out for is that you generally have no guarantee about the order in which subscribers get notified. For most things, that's fine, but if the order matters for your logic, well, that could be a problem.
So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? The observer pattern is all about creating these dynamic, one-way channels of communication between objects. It's an incredibly powerful and efficient way to make sure different parts of your system stay in sync without being tangled up with each other.
So I'll leave you with this question. Just think about your own digital life. Your YouTube subscriptions, those notifications you get on social media, maybe a stock ticker app you use. Where do you see publishers and subscribers at work? Because I guarantee you, this pattern is running silently and efficiently in the background of your life all day, every day.